everyone, my name is Lauren Verdella. I'm an attorney that works at Callagy Law. I used to work in PIP, no fault insurance. I work in workers' comp now, as well as our commercial insurance department. We spoke with Stephanie the other day, and we thought it would be easier just to make a video to explain in more depth what we do here, specifically with our commercial insurance department. And I'd just like to turn it over to Sean right now. This is Sean Callagy, just to explain it further.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Sean Callagy of Callagy Law, obviously. And real quickly, we do PIP, and we talked to Stephanie about PIP, and I think Stephanie has some experience working in PIP with us in the past. And all we ever say in PIP is, please give us a chance, compare and contrast what you have. There's no cost, there's no fees, everything is paid only if we win by the insurance company, not out of your recovery, and we front the filing fees, and if we lose, we eat the filing fees. I think a strategic advantage that's critical in working with us is just the size. We have 110 people here. We have a ton of people in the firm that are dedicated to doing this. We have liaisons that will go into your office that have medical billing and collection background and experience, that have worked with many other clients. We identify the claims. We help take the labor off of your staff. And we have a completely transparent computer system that you can look into and see the status of your files at all times. Please give us a chance in the PIP to compare and contrast. We feel really confident that you will like what you see. With regard to workers' comp, slightly different, and Lauren knows this and runs around doing a whole bunch of this. I guess we're up in northern New Jersey. I think we travel all the way down to Cape May. Right?
Yes, Atlantic City.
Yeah, across the state and go west and east, right? So we cover the whole state of New Jersey. Workers' comp's a little bit more complicated than PIP. There's no attorney fee shifting provision, so we're making a proposal to you on that based on percentage basis for the workers' comp. Some of those workers' comp cases require multiple appearances. Give me what's the most you've appeared in one case on?
About 6 in a day.
6 cases a day, but how many appearances total in one case, like in the life history of the case?
Offhand, for workers' comp, you
yeah.
said?
Yeah, for the workers' comp file.
I'm not sure, maybe 3 or 4.
Okay, so could a PIP you do 1.
PIP
right?
is 1, yes.
0 to 1, and workers' comp is typically 2, 3, 4. Fair statement?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, and I think that if you've gone 3 or 4, I think Andrew, who's the attorney that runs the workers' comp area, I think Andrew said that he's been on over 10 on some cases.
Right. So
it could require a significant amount of appearances in workers' comp. No fee shifting provision, ergo a percentage. We think we're very competitive in that percentage area. We file a very significant number of workers' comp cases. In workers' comp alone in 2013, we recovered over $7 million on behalf of our client providers. In fact, overall, we recovered, I think it was $32.5 million for our provider clients in 2013. Recovery overall, $7 million of which was for workers' compensation on behalf of our surgical centers and surgical practices. So, and we wouldn't be putting that in a video, but since we're doing the video, we added those commentary. What Lauren was saying is we want to talk to you about the commercial insurance, because that is the hardest and most complicated, and we've had sort of the biggest change within the firm in doing it. In 2013, we recovered about $1 million for our clients in commercial insurance, and it's an area that we remain what I'll call pioneer, pushing forward in that area, making a ton of appearances in federal court. So the commercial insurance cases really end up, for the most part, in federal court with some limited exceptions on some issues that you can stay in state court on. So by definition, would you agree, the commercial insurance cases are significantly more involved than workers' comp, which is significantly more involved than PIP. Fair statement?
Fair statement. Commercial insurance requires litigation, which means interrogatories, discovery, appearing before federal judges about 3 or 4 times, settlement conferences, phone conferences once every 30 days, motions, oppositions. It's a very complicated process.
Right. So we sat back as a firm, and some people inside the firm were saying, hey, we shouldn't even do commercial insurance anymore, because the way we were doing it was on similar to workers' comp, on a one-off file percentage basis. So you give us 20 files, it's 20 separate matters we're handling for your business, just like we handle workers' comp today. However, there's a couple of significant hurdles. A lot of the files in commercial insurance, unlike workers' comp, you're not able to determine if the facility, your facility, is actually owed money up front. And there's a couple of different ways. Do you want to explain that, Lauren?
Sure.
What could happen up front that would mean the facility wasn't owed money?
Okay. So basically, your rights under what you're entitled to reimbursement is pursuant to the patient's plan. A lot of the times, the patient does not even have the plan The doctors can request the plan. A lot of times doctors don't even realize that you have rights under ERISA, which is the federal law that governs these cases, that you have a right to the plan to see what your rate of reimbursement is. So all of this stems from the fact that insurance companies just ignore these requests and want to keep doctors in the dark about their rights. But you are entitled to the plan, and you are entitled to see what you are owed. But a lot of the times when you can't get the plan, even during a in-depth appeals process, we have to sue them, and we sue them for the plan. But once you get the plan, you see that the rate of reimbursement is 180% of Medicare, or you see that there is an anti-assignment clause, which means the patient was never allowed to assign his or her rights as to the beneficiary, i.e. the doctor yourselves. A lot of these are the problems that we face once we cannot get the plan despite all of these attempts, and then you get the plan after litigating these cases, and then you realize that that your rights originally were 180% of Medicare, or that you had no right to sue to begin with. So those are the problems that we deal with these ERISA cases.
Right. So you find out that you were paid in full. Right. So
right.
So a lot of these files that we're working on, we're putting in labor, helping the offices close their files that they weren't owing any money on. But we had to advance the cost, and we had to work on the file, and we get paid nothing. And it wasn't our fault that we got paid nothing. It wasn't the provider's fault necessarily, but at the end of the day, there was no money to be paid.
Mm-hmm.
So we ended up with nothing. And so when you had a whole bunch of cases like that with filing fees and costs, it became a really difficult proposition economically for the firm. So ergo, some people were saying, why are we going to do this anymore, right? So I said, that's crazy. Listen, that would mean that doctors' offices or surgical centers or other healthcare facilities could have money stolen from them. And just because it's too complicated to figure out a way to help them, that this would all just stay that way. So we came up with a very different approach to it that makes sense, we believe, still tremendously for both the provider and for our firm to be involved, right? Yeah. So, and of course, let's start simply. You could always pay us hourly to do this. You could pay the filing fee, you could pay us hourly as a law firm, and we're happy to do it, right? We take client cases all the time, and sometimes clients have cases that they need to investigate, and they pay us to investigate. And if there's something that's productive and possible, we move forward. If not, we don't. So you're always entitled to do that. But a lot of the providers don't want to do that. They'd rather pass the risk along to us. And in the past, we were taking the risk, 100% of the risk completely, in one-off cases. So all we've really done is we've decided to diversify the risk that we're bearing still, right? We're bearing still, but not have it hit our firm disproportionately. How do we do that? Instead of looking at each case you give us as a one-off, we're looking at these cases as a global relationship, so all the files that we have from your office. And so we're going to get paid now the higher of a percentage of recovery or the hourly work we put into the file. And all this is explained in the retainer agreement we sent to you. But I'm explaining the why behind it, because you might look at it and go, wait a minute, it's possible that you would get an entire check that comes in, and the answer is yes, that's absolutely possible. But what is very clear is we're taking all the risk, advancing the filing fees and costs. Again, unless you want to pay us hourly and advance those costs yourself, then we can never get a percentage, and we're very happy to work that way. But I don't think most providers want us to work that way. They'd rather us take the risk again. But if we're going to take the risk, then this is sort of how it would work. Let's assume that we have, in the first 3 months we file, 50 files for your facility. We incur $20,000 in actual out-of-pocket filing fees, and we put another $25,000 in effort into the files in billable time, which is all recorded. So now we have an outstanding balance of $45,000 in our time and costs out. And then let's assume that in the same month, let's assume, I think that was 4 months in, right? So let's say it's 4 months in. And then in month 4, we recover $40,000 for the facility. Well, in that situation, we would get paid the $40,000 out of the recovery, and you'd have a $5,000 balance. Now, what would happen if, though, let's go back, if we recovered nothing for the facility, and we have this $45,000 out there, we never recovered anything? Well, the facility would pay nothing, and we would get stuck with a $45,000 loss in time and out-of-pocket cost. But going back to my scenario, so now you have a $5,000 balance going into month 5. In month 5, in additional filing fees for new files, additional labor put in on the files we had, let's say another $8,000 gets put into the bill. So that's $13,000 that's owed to the firm. And in that month, we recover $30,000 for the facility. Well, out of that $30,000, we would get paid our 13, the facility would get paid the 30, and now the facility has a portfolio of cases out there that we're continuing to work on, that they've really paid the upfront filing fees, now been paid out of the proceeds that we've recovered, and then we would move forward. And each month we would do that type of analysis. How much time have we put in? What are the costs? What is the recovery globally from the beginning? And then we would just, each month, as I explained the retainer, we would compare that to a percentage from the beginning to see which one was greater. And so it's always going the entire duration of the relationship. So it's very similar to what we were doing before, with one big difference, is we're looking at the entire relationship, which is very fair to us. Because if we put all this labor in for free and didn't recover anything, why should we be penalized on that, have to lose, and only be paid on isolated files that we could have won on, right? Because these other files, a lot of these we couldn't have won on. So do you want to comment?
Just that I've worked in the commercial insurance department for about a year now, and I've seen the way it was done before and the way it's being done now with this new retainer, and it's great because we're assuming all the risk. You're not paying anything out of pocket, and these are just files that are sitting there collecting dust anyway, without knowing that you can collect money on these files, and it's possible, and they're just sitting there. So we just want to get the opportunity to recover money where a lot of doctors just write them off and lose hope that you can recover on these claims.
Yeah. So we don't want to take too much of your time. We're very happy. Please call us now, 201-261-1700. My cell number, I'm happy to send it out, is 201-957-5350, 201-957-5350. Check us out if you want at callagylaw.com online. There's other videos, other information about what we're doing here. We'd love to meet with you or just get started. And we're here to collect money for the facility. We're very confident we can. If we weren't confident that we could, we wouldn't be willing to advance the filing fees and do what we're doing. So overall, we'd love to start working with you in PIP, workers' comp, and the commercial insurance side. Lauren, I really appreciate you taking the time today.
Thank you.
I knew the last thing in the world you want to do is shoot this video as you're jumping out of like traditional conferences on the phone, right? Okay.
It's anything
right.
for Sean.
Yeah, no, but thank you very much. I look forward to meeting with you, so please call us now. Thanks.
Thank you.